Coming up this week on Beyond the Vibe, we're joined by Budderside.
Budderside was more of an idea, and it really started and formed around like acoustic songs that I would write, because that's really all I had. I mean, I was homeless, I was a drug addict, I would hunch over my guitar, and those were the only things that got me through those hard days sometimes when I didn't have anywhere to sleep or no friends to talk to. I had my guitar to talk to, and I'd write songs. If any four of us died, you know that fifth guy is still going to go on to do it. You know what I mean? Each one of us has got this drive and this motivation to do it. The people were great. The lessons were great. The partying was insane. You know what I mean? We didn't sleep for a couple of months at a time. And like, you bring a pandemic in and people start missing live music and realizing what it's really all about. And like, how bad does the world want rock and roll again right now?
If rock and roll's dead, then we're old zombies, man.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Vibe, the show that cuts deep into the world of music.
Thank you, Ryan. On the sofa.
I know, a bit different.
My name is Aaron Day. I'm lead guitarist in UK band These Wicked Rivers, and I'm here with videographer and music photographer, Mr. Ryan Vasey.
Yes.
How are you doing, Mr. Vasey?
Oh, we're good, aren't we?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we've been listening to Budderside's new record, which should be out now whilst you're listening to this.
Yeah, really interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. After listening to the debut album, before we got sent through for an exclusive listen.
I know, right?
The album before. Yeah, it's a pretty big time. Before we got sent through that, I didn't think I was going to vibe off it. I've got no problem saying that, because it's just, I think that first album was them trying different styles. I think that was a big part of it, that they didn't want to hold anything back. Whereas I feel like the second album in the lineup, Patrick's been able to assemble. It feels like they've got a concrete identity at this point,
It's interesting because, I didn't know much of them beforehand, and I wasn't sure going in because I hadn't heard a lot of them.
Yeah. Apprehensive.
And I put the first track on and it just blows you away, doesn't it?
I like the album, man. I think it's cool, and there's a few little surprises in there.
Yes.
Very interesting cover, which you'll find out about in the following interview.
Any moment, yes. And speaking of that,
any moment, maybe this moment now.
Speaking of that, we'll hand it over to the Budderside guys from a car.
From a car.
Outside Starbucks.
Fantastic. So, hello, we're here with Budderside as we look ahead to their upcoming album, Spiritual Violence. Our episode airs on the Saturday, so at this point, when it comes out, it will already be out, gentlemen. And it's definitely worth a listen. So, thanks for joining us, boys.
Hey, thanks for having us. We are so excited to drop this record. It's been a labor of love and a long time coming, so we're super excited about it, more so than anything I think that we've done so far.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love the positivity. We've had a chance to give it a listen. It's a killer album, boys. Really enjoy it.
Yeah. Which one's your favorite? Which track?
Ooh, well, we like the opening track.
Yes, the Wide Awake.
Yeah, Wide Awake, yeah.
Yeah, big time. I'm a big fan of opening tracks for records because I think it lays the foundations for the rest of the album. It's always a choice.
Sets the tone for sure. Yeah, we use that one to open up our set every time because it just slaps you in the face.
Yeah, that's what you want, innit? You want to grab people by the balls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we love it. It's a good album.
Yeah. So one thing we like to do on the show is we like to go right back to the beginning. So for you personally, Patrick, what got you into singing in the first place? Did you always want to be a frontman, or was this something that you just kind of arrived at?
No, it's been exactly what I've wanted from my life since the first thing I can remember is wanting to be a singer. I know my father used to tell me that I pulled on his pant leg at 5 years old, crossing the street going to school, and he asked me what did I want to be when I grew up, and I said I want to be a rock star. So I've never deviated from that path. I've never thought that there's never been a plan B for me. The paths that I took, the detours that I took definitely weren't part of the plan, but I think they all form, they all together, it's been building up what I'm hoping will be something that lasts, something with integrity, something that's worthy of talking about after I'm gone. So yeah, always wanted to be a rock star. Yeah.
No, that's cool, man. I love that. I love that positive energy around it. Because things can go wrong along the way, but it all forms the person you are. And you take things from the things that go wrong and move forward with them. Definitely.
Absolutely, yeah, man. It's like after you've been through as much as we've been through, I think we've learned that every tragedy is some kind of miracle in the making. You know, you never know what's going to come on the other side of all of this stuff you're going through, the things that cause you all this grief. There's some kind of beauty, some kind of a lesson, some kind of, a silver lining, or something like that on the other side of it.
No, that's
on the butter side of it.
No, I love that spiritual energy. And for the rest of the boys in the band, is that something that you all tap into as well? Do you feel that that's a real connection between you all?
Oh, totally.
Definitely. Yeah. And
for sure.
I think, I mean, for as far as playing music and stuff, that's all. I think that's all what any of us have wanted to do for all of our lives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've got a group together that's kind of like, that's the dream team that I've always dreamt of having. Everybody in the group, if any four of us died, you know that fifth guy is still going to go on to do it. You know what I mean? Each one of us has got this drive and this motivation to do it, and all of us are very well capable of doing it without one another. It's just, we're really fortunate to have one another to do it with. So yeah, we're stoked.
That's cool, man. It's the beauty of a band, isn't it? It does become a family.
Yeah, we are definitely that. We tell each other everything. Sometimes too much.
I know from myself being in a band with me and the boys, sometimes there's stuff I don't want to know. I don't need to see. It just adds to the list of nightmares.
Yeah,
I felt that completely. I mean, for yourself, Patrick, in terms of, like you say, you feel like you've got to this pivotal point, in terms of the group of people that are around you in the band and the family of it. I mean, I imagine you were in different bands growing up. Was this the case? Did you immediately fall into bands, and then what led you to obviously being on the road with Motorhead?
Yeah, the Motorhead thing was, it wasn't really part of the dream. It was just, I was really fortunate to fall in with that whole, again, a family of people that we just loved hanging out with one another, and I just kind of fit into the whole family. The girlfriend I was dating at the time was like Lem's best friend and the band's best friend, and she would tour with them all the time doing the video stuff and whatever else. So they were just hanging out over at my place all the time. I'd run over to their place, we'd all hang out. And then I was just there when Phil got a call from his roadie overseas, who couldn't make it for the tour that I ended up jumping on, the Everything Louder Than Everything Else tour. And Phil hung up the phone just kind of like, I don't have a roadie. And I was like, yeah, you do. And he was like, oh yeah, I guess I do. So that was that.
Killer.
Yeah. I mean, lo and behold, it's funny how like how even as we go on, all of the stuff that happened back then feeds more and more so into the story than I could have ever realized. I never looked at it as like my opportunity to meet people that could help me. It was just like, I mean, literally when that job came around, it was great to make a few thousand a month, or a week. You know what I mean? It didn't pay bad. The people were great. The lessons were great. The partying was insane. You know what I mean? We didn't sleep for a couple of months at a time. So, just totally grateful for the experience. But then you fast forward to the present, and Lemmy set us up to really become a legit band, and people, that whole, it's hard to break the Motorhead fans and become a fan, to have them become a fan of yours as well. And I'm not sure we've scraped together too many of those from that genre or that fan base, but his name carries a lot of weight with everyone. I mean, it was Lemmy who also kicked down the door with Slash and got me in with the Velvet Revolver guys, and then playing with them, and ultimately Steven Adler for a couple of years. So he's definitely linked, to every little thing that has to do with Budderside and my life. It's just you can't shake it. And every interview, of course, we talk about it. So, it's great. It's great. It's a wonderful part of my life. I'm just happy that I'm grateful, and I have to pinch myself, to be honest, because it's hard to believe sometimes. Sometimes you tell people these stories at a party and they don't believe you. It's just hard to believe.
I can imagine.
For those that don't know, when the band were originally formed, how did you kind of all come together, and did you set out with that particular sound that you've got now, from the get-go, or was that something that you kind of arrived at as a group?
Well, the idea behind Budderside is the anti-cliche, basically what did we say the other day? We finally had a good answer for this one.
Oh, all the good names.
Yeah, all the good names were taken. So we stuck with this one because it was like, what are we going to be? Hammer of the Devil, or Demons from the Sky, or whatever. Every good
King Coffee.
Every good name was taken. So Budderside is like, it's the anti-cliche, and it's like every time somebody just kind of shakes their head at that name, it's like when somebody tells you can't do something, it motivates you even harder to do it. So it's kind of good to have that in your back pocket, because you need somebody every day telling you, something's not right, and then you got to prove to them that it is right. And that's what we do every day. We get up and we do something creative and amazing, and right now we're at a good pace. We're shoving something noteworthy down your throat every single day. We've got so much good content and so many songs written and so much recorded and so many videos that we're creating that you can't deny that we are a presence. You know what I mean? We're coming at you with music that's from our heart. They're lessons of life that like most people can only dream about. So Budderside was more of an idea, and it really started and formed around like acoustic songs that I would write, because that's really all I had. I mean, I was homeless, I was a drug addict, I would hunch over my guitar, and those were the only things that got me through those hard days sometimes when I didn't have anywhere to sleep or no friends to talk to. I had my guitar to talk to, and I'd write songs, and some of those songs transcended all the way into the first record. One song in particular transcended into the second record, and it's really just about it's that idea. Really, it's like the butter side is like, I mean, there's also a saying that like butter side is the toast that lands up. The butter side lands up, kind of like you throw a cat out a window and it's always going to land on its feet. So there's that plays into it. But it's kind of just like it describes the music that always has been with me, the thing that's got me through the hard times. But there's been a million different kind of lineups to they've taken the stage with the name Budderside. But Sam finally got in the group, and it just really got real all of a sudden, because Sam is just a caliber of musician that's just beyond anyone else I've ever encountered. And I think he makes me feel like I'm that special as well. So we decided at some point that like it was time to get, just like we said before, some people that are like these guys, or just as motivated and as talented, that wake up and live, eat, shit, breathe everything every second of the day is music. And what can I do to get my career farther and get myself to more people? So now you've got 5 of us, and we're all firing on that many cylinders together. And it's, we've just gotten started, man. I mean, we were filming out in the freaking snow yesterday. You know what I mean? And it's just great. Like, we had the best time. We're freezing, we're falling down in the snow. And like, it's like, we're just, there's nothing we won't sacrifice for our art. And I think at some point soon, we're going to be in front of so many people on a nightly basis, and it's going to become infectious and contagious. And finally, all of that's within us will be in other people around the world.
But it's really kind of odd to me when people ask about the name, because it's about the songs. That should be the focus, in my opinion.
I mean, we have this.
Yeah, I mean, you have to ask.
Yeah, it's part of the stuff. It's as interview.
Right? No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying. A lot of people ask about the name. And it's a
strange name.
Yeah.
All the good ones are taken.
Yeah.
That's the answer right there.
Yeah.
No, that's a good answer. And the thing, we had this chat of a band last week, because it's difficult, because if you look back through the history of rock and roll, there's a lot of names that on the face of it look a bit shit. But then it's about the identity.
Yeah, like what the hell is the Foo Fighters? Even Dave Grohl makes fun of it. You know what I mean?
That's it. Like all the names you go through, and you think, fucking hell, that's a shit name. But it's about, as you say, it's the music that creates an identity around that name.
Exactly.
And then once, like with you guys, I bet you'd never go away from Budderside at this point, because it's who you are. It's the moniker above the family, like you guys said. So it's the music, as you say, that truly wraps it around. But yeah, we had to ask the question because it's a bit of a different one.
Right.
It's anti band name.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, you kind of...
Yeah, I mean, once you get it, you get it.
So, yeah, I mean, you spoke a lot. I mean, I love the positive energy around the vibe, Patrick, and maybe the guys can interject as well. In terms of you spoke a bit about it, in terms of recruiting the bands for that next... the band members for that next, like, involvement of the band. What was that process like for you in terms of going out and getting people? And did you feel the excitement building as you started to add different parts to it and feel it forming to what it is now?
I mean, I can't say anything bad about the guys that have been in Budderside along the way. They put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into, like, gaining what fans we did gain from traveling all over the world together. But there does come a time, and my life really started over after I got sober. So you're looking at like 15 years ago, like life started to really get real. Before that, it was just like mistake after mistake after mistake, which made me who I am. But yeah, it was time to get super real and like really have something to offer people, so that like if we go on after, or if we go on before the Foo Fighters, or we go on before Foo Flower, or before Bad Flower, or whoever, or Asking Alexandria, any of these bands that like we're really looking forward to touring with soon. Anybody on the bill at Rocklahoma, when we step up there, we want our band to offer as much as those bands that are up there do. So it's like you've got to trim the fat in every area possible. You've got to make every possible move you can to assure your success. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons why you can't deny it. There's no drummer that's better than that dude. There's no guitar player better than these two. There's no bass player that can do it like him. And God damn it, if I'm not trying to be good enough to sing for these guys, hopefully that gets us where we need to go.
And to kind of answer the thing about the other members, at least when I came back to the band, it's like when there was not really any other picks for any of the guys. When we were getting a different bass player, different drummer, different other guitar player, there wasn't another pick. It was only Jeff, only Gabe, only Logan. We all were friends.
I like that.
We were kind of friends, and we all knew we had a good chance at like really getting along, because you got to be together, like, close quarters. Shit, we lost our tour bus and we were stuck in a van together for 2 months. And like, it really got fun when we were actually, after the bus broke down and we were stuck with each other, just like now, we're
closer quarters than now.
Yeah, because we're just always cracking each other up, and that's the proof of all of it. But it was definitely like when the whole thing started to basically fall apart with the last lineup, it was time to decide who to take, and we knew that these were the best players in town, and we had to get them. And for some of them, it was a little easier than the others, but there was a lot of romancing that went on. You know what I mean? It's like any other relationship. It took some proving to one another that like this was the right thing. But now, like, we're just so psyched. Like COVID's kind of coming to a little bit of a close, and we can be together again. We can rehearse again. This was our first excuse. Gabe just got back from Brazil, and he had to quarantine for 10 days, and we couldn't wait to be together again. And now look at us. We've put ourselves in a tiny little vehicle. Well, it's a big car, but we put ourselves all in a car together, and we've traveled somewhere to create a video. Like, we just can't wait to create together. So we're so psyched.
Awesome.
Speaking of that creation, of course, we'll talk about the new album, Spiritual Violence. We of course listened to the album, and we found that compared to the debut album, it has a bit more of a heavy edge to it. With songs like Wide Awake and Amber Alert. Was this intended for you guys, like, from the beginning? Like, did you think, we're going to go out and make something a bit heavier this time around? Or did you, while you were there, did you just think, did you just arrive at that naturally?
I think it's like, again, we're evolving. Like I said, a lot of the songs from the first record transcended from a lot of hard times with an acoustic guitar hunched over all by myself. And then you get yourself into, these kind of caliber of musicians, and then it just ups the game as far as the musicianship goes. But definitely working with Jay Baumgardner, I think we've always wanted to be heavy as fuck, and even moving forward after this record, I think it gets even more refined. But with Jay, it was a dream come true. I mean, he's such a legendary producer, and to have him in there hands-on, it was really cool. Like, we just look forward to being, more like our heroes. And that's a pretty vast, spectrum.
Yeah. On that subject, I mean, everybody's a sum of their own influences. So when you got 5 people coming together with their own influences, there's bits that come out here and there that, maybe it's heavier in certain places, or more like Alice in Chains, or more like Guns N' Roses, or more like just whatever in different places.
Oh, cool. I mean, you mentioned it there, Patsy, in terms of the influence of Jay. I mean, like, with this record, did you feel, for all of you guys, was it when you're starting to form the material, you do start to get a sound in your head for what you want the record to sound like? Do you think Jay has been able to produce something that has got that sound in your head out on the record? Because for me, the mix-wise, it's the vocals in particular are fantastic, and the power in the low end of it is fucking really powerful record.
Nice. Yeah, no, we're just very hopeful that, like, Logan and Sam, we were all in the rehearsal room together, bashing these songs out over and over again, just trying to get the riffs right and the riffs tight, and deciding on kind of like, the arrangements of the song. And then, we kind of forced ourselves into the studio with Jay. We really didn't have, many songs written for the new record, really. I just set a date with him, and then I like putting that kind of pressure on ourselves. So we kind of got in the studio with Jay with like a lot of the songs weren't quite finished, which kind of allowed him to really kind of throw a verse into here, or like do this chorus twice, or like help with the arrangement and kind of get his feel on things. But it definitely was we had this idea, and you have us, 5 guys in a room bashing out the songs, and it sounds a certain way. And then to sit back in a studio like NRG with Jay and Danny playing them back to the speakers, and then you add the synth and the symphonies and the children's choir and whatever else crazy stuff we did, the pianos. It's magical. It definitely is a magical experience. So I think that's the focus and the goal with every recording session we get into. We want it to sound beyond, I think that we like to think that we have an idea of how cool it's going to be, but you force yourselves again, and the guys that are producing at a level that you haven't been to yet, to make it sound beyond what you could possibly dream.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. One of the interesting things we found on the album was, of course, the cover of the Johnny Cash classic, the Folsom Prison Blues, which you obviously put your kind of Budderside twist on it. Was there that? What was that? It was an interesting choice,
What was the inspiration behind that? How did you come to that point of thinking, let's put our mark on this, let's do this?
To be totally honest, again, something I learned from Jay, but I had actually adopted this kind of thinking beforehand to get Johnny Cash into our set list. I was on the road with a band called Ectomorph out of Hungary. They're like fucking black metal death fucking psychopaths. And we toured all over Europe together, and they did a cover of Johnny Cash, almost just a little bit like the one that we adopted. It really inspired the idea to take that song into, the arrangement that we use. A lot of that is stolen from that band. So I have to give Zoli and his boys some credit there. But it's just so great, because you hear that song covered so many times by so many people, and it's a wonderful, amazing. Nobody does it as good as Johnny Cash. You can't do it, and we haven't as well. And Ectomorph have done it as good as Johnny Cash, because he's fucking Johnny Cash. But the song itself, if people are a little bit hesitant to like you, and you're 4 sets into your set and you pull that one out and throw it at them the way that we do it, the energy level goes crazy. The roof comes off the place, and everybody just warms up to you. And it doesn't matter what you play next, they're going to love you. So
also during that number, we jam a lot. We do different solos and stuff. So that's a good part of the show, to just let loose and express yourself.
Yeah, it's almost like we felt like people were going to expect to have that on the record, because it was just a highlight in the live show that we toured for years.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No, that's killer. I bet live, like you say, if you feel like, because I've played gigs before, and you're about a few songs in, you think, fuck, we need to kind of give everyone a kick up the ass. I bet as soon as you knock that out, like you say, it just brings the whole thing, and everyone's on your side then, and then you can hit them with the Budderside experience at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Killer.
Exactly.
So obviously, as you touched on, Patrick, the album's been released through Motorhead Music alongside Silver Lining, and obviously the band was signed by Lemmy himself. I mean, Phil Campbell featured on the single "Pardon Me," which is obviously a tribute to Lem, and you spoke a little bit about it in terms of the effect that he's had with you. I mean, how much of an effect would you say for yourself he had, not only as a musician but as a person?
How much of an effect did Lemmy have?
Yeah, on you not only as a musician but as well a person, because so many people seem to talk about him with this sort of that effect he has on you when you spend time around him.
Yeah, that's the craziest part of all of it, because you watch a lot of people swarm around the crowd, like everybody kind of wants to come over and say hello to him, and like I said, I just got super lucky. Like, I had a girlfriend that dug me, and she just loved me enough that she didn't think twice about taking me over to his apartment or the rehearsal hall or whatever. And then Lemmy and I warmed up to each other on a few different levels that were outside of music. We had this Anyway, the thing I got from him the most is, like a lot of people say that really did know him, is he's just such a sweet man. I mean, I remember watching Headbangers Ball, and like part of the intro was Lemmy on stage, you know? And I remember looking at him on TV thinking, fuck, I never want to meet that guy. He's going to eat me. You know what I mean? Thinking he's going to fucking tear my heart out of my chest and be like, you're not real, and throw it in the garbage, you know? But it turns out that, like, he's just so loving and kind, and you know, he would share his lyrics with me and ask me what my opinions were. I think he changed a few lyrics in the Black Magic album, you know, just by, you know, offering to take my opinion from some of the stuff he would show me. It's just I feel so super fortunate, because I know so many people out there wish they had known him, and they're all very surprised when you tell them what a sweet and loving and kind person he was. Like, there's just nothing he wouldn't do for you. He literally would stop and talk to anyone, and he would like see through all the BS and just find that thing that's good about somebody and focus on it. And he'd have a conversation with anyone. He'd be just as happy to have it with a stranger, you know, living in a freaking, you know, in a trailer park, as much as he would the Queen of England. And all of those people from one end to the other wanted to know him and meet him, and for good reason, you know. Just such an impact, such a great, huge impact musically on the world. And yes, definitely a personal, amazing impact on me. I live every day to hopefully have the integrity he had and be as honest as he was. And, you know, hopefully that, you know, that's kind of like the true success. I mean, he wasn't burdened by a lot of the bullshit that goes along with, like, you know, the fads or the trends, or like, he just didn't care about all of that. He just wanted to rock. He just wanted to play every night. He figured out how to do it, and he did it with style.
That's killer, man.
Yeah. Going back to the album, if you guys could pick one track to recommend to people, and one that's kind of your personal favourites, what would they be?
One track that doesn't really get much attention that I really like, Stay Go By. That one's really cool.
Cool.
I gotta go with Wide Awake, man. That intro, you know, it really kicks you in the ass. I love that intro.
I'd have to go with Amber Alert, just because song-wise, it's been my favorite from the beginning, and the video's pretty nuts that we just put out for it.
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, I've always liked Things We Do, to be honest. That's like probably my favorite one on the album. I think it's just like a great song, beautiful song, really.
Yeah, that's a cool one. I would say that, like, of the songs that we haven't put out yet, I'd probably say like Things We Do, or even, gosh, I don't know. There's a few good ones, and they're all, you know, they're all so personal to me. You know what I mean? There's like a.
Well, this is airing Saturday, so I already put it out.
Oh, so it's already out. So yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, the whole record, like, it's you know, I kind of let myself be influenced by the other guys, and, you know, Matt Pinfield and the people that kind of hover around us that I think kind of know better. I just kind of let, like, you know, popularity pick the songs that we kind of put out front. But I mean, Soul Searches, that's a song on the record that is that's just so personal, about heartbreak and stuff like that, finding your power after you've been completely and totally heartbroken. Then there's I'm a Man. That song's just got so many, it's a lot of lessons in that one about karma and the feel of it. It makes me want to dance, you know. It is a great record. Super proud of it, and we're super happy that it's out finally and everybody can enjoy it. And we hope that they have enough time to absorb it before we start slamming you with other stuff.
I can't wait. Now, I'm not sure what the situation's like for you guys in the States, obviously with COVID, but over in the UK, we're preparing for a return to live music. Okay, tentatively preparing. I mean, what plans does Budderside have to celebrate this new album?
Well, we've got Japan is scratching at our heels. So is Europe in the fall, but everything's kind of looking at fall. We've got Rocklahoma. So, you know, those are the dates that have finally started to kind of settle in the sand, and like, they're not really moving. You know, we've had a million things that kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back that, like, you know, it looks like aren't going to happen for the first 6 months now, you know, until like June or so. But I think that things will start opening up, and we're gonna take every chance that we can. We're gonna jump on every opportunity that we can to play live music, you know. So whatever starts opening up, we'll jump on it. But we definitely have some tours set out for Japan, Europe, and we'll definitely have a lot of dates surrounding Rocklahoma in like early fall.
Awesome. Do you have any plans to come to the UK? Anything? Would you guys like to come to the UK?
Hell yeah!
Yep.
Hell yeah! We went. I was there once before with the lineup, the previous lineup, and it just wasn't enough. We actually did get stuck in London for 3 days, and I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that. So you can never. It's like you're on tour. You want to play every night, so it's like a different city every night. I would love to come back to London and just hang for a week. You know what I mean? If I could, or even longer, just to check it out. But
let's go pub crawl.
Yeah, but we have. I mean, we've kind of set a little bit of a foundation. We could go over there and do a tour by ourselves, almost. I think, and at least have a few people at every show. But I think we're gearing up. We've got a lot of good people. This album has led to a lot of great things. So I think we'll definitely be touring around the world a lot. As soon as they open up the gates for us to tour again, I don't think we're ever going to come home.
Awesome, boys. Love it.
Yeah.
Finally, a question that I like to ask that's a bit of a hypothetical one. If you guys could tour with one band from the past and one band from the present, who would they be?
One band from the past.
And one from the present.
One is Nirvana, because Kurt's gone, so that's not happening anymore. And one band from the present, I gotta say Chili Peppers, because that would be amazing to me.
Damn. Ooh, from the past, I'm gonna have to go Sabbath, Black Sabbath, and then from the current, I'm gonna go Foo Fighters. Yep.
Sweet.
That's true.
Oh man, from the
That's
past.
on the spot, man. I had to think.
I know that's
That's a
tough.
good question. I like that.
That's right. The first thing coming to mind from the past is Chris Cornell. So
Nice.
whether it be Soundgarden or Audio Slave, that would be my
Anything
pick.
like that.
And then from the present, I mean, I love Alice in Chains, so I say Alice in Chains.
Killer.
I'd probably have to go with Sabbath too, like Jeff said. That would be so cool. Include such big crowds and whatever. And from the present, man, that's hard. Probably say like AC/DC currently, because I mean they're going to tour soon, I think. So they're still current. Probably AC/DC. They're still going.
Yeah. From the past, I'd have to say Queen, dude. Wow. I mean,
Yeah, good tour, man.
so great. I would love to tour with Queen. And present day, I want to go out with what's her name? We were just talking.
Oh, Pretty Reckless.
Yeah, Pretty Reckless, man.
Oh, their new record's awesome.
Yes,
She is so amazing, and like the energy. You could she's got that rock and roll thing, that the bring back rock and roll kind of whole thing. Awesome. I mean, path. You know what I mean? She knows exactly where she's taking rock and roll, or even I don't even want to say Miley Cyrus, but dude, she got the right idea too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're all bringing rock and roll back. It's like a year ago, people were saying rock and roll is dead, or 2 years ago, people were really scared that it was. And it's like all of us that knew that you can't kill it, and like you bring a pandemic in, and people start missing live music and realizing what it's really all about, and like how bad does the world want rock and roll again right now?
If rock and roll is dead, then we're all zombies, man.
Yeah.
We're all the Walking Dead over here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right. Massive thanks to the boys in Budderside for chatting to us today. As we said, when this airs, Budderside's killer new album, Spiritual Violence, will have been released to the world, so go check it out now and pick yourself up a copy. It's definitely worth it. If you've not already done it, make sure you give the boys some love on social medias and jump on the positive train that's around them. Love the positivity, boys. Love the vibe. And hope you come over to the UK. If you do, we'll definitely come and give you some love, and we'll have another interview face to face.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Hell yes.
Thanks ever so much, gents. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Okay. God bless.
Oh, and thanks
guys.
to Starbucks for your Wi-Fi. Down to Starbucks. Yay! Go on, Starbucks. So yeah, that was the Budderside boys in a motor outside of Starbucks. I have this thing when I get a bit nervous, I'm trying to be funny, where I go a bit cockney, and I reckon they thought I was alright yobbo, you know. Like towards the end, I go, "Hey, Starbucks, right? Go on, boss."
No, but I thought the guys came across really well. They were, really, really like positive and
Yeah, great vibe.
yeah, you can feel that they're really excited about bringing out this new album, and they've clearly got confidence in the work that they've done, and I think they're have every right to be.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we were chatting about this a little bit. I think when you interview bands and chat to them, and you've spent that time, I really want the Budderside boys to come over now, so we can go and see him like gigging in the UK and have another chat with them, you know. And I hope that comes across for people watching at home, you know, that it's that same, you know, impression of them, because they just seem really passionate about what they're doing. And
yeah, you know, I love the drive that they've got. You know, they all said, you know, they're totally every single one of them really invested, and you know, they'd carry on even if one of them went. You know, it's that kind of like
ended up murdering each other. Aren't they? You know, seriously, very nice lads, and great vibe. Really enjoyed it. Check out the album if you've not heard it. 100%.
Yes, obviously it'll be out, so it'll only be 1 day old as you're hearing this.
Fantastic. So we're on the point, aren't we?
Exactly.
We've got a finger hot on the pulse. We did a new thing this week, didn't we?
Yes.
We've also spoke to a good friend of mine, and many bands will know him on the scene, Mr. Brett Hall of the Gifford Arms and many other venues.
Yes, and you can hear that now.
We're here with the lovely Brett Hall, live music promoter, known very well within the new wave of classic rock and the gigging scene in general. Many bands have played stages that Brett has promoted. I mean, I was chatting to Rye about this, Brett. I can't even remember the first gig these Wicked Rivers played for you. Can you?
No. Now you're going to put me on the spot.
I know, straight away as well.
I think we've probably known each other for at least 4 years.
Well, the band have been together for about 7, which is fucking mad.
Did you? Because I think it might have been that you guys and Held and Tired, who were then anonymous.
Yeah,
I think you might have come along with the same bill. Possibly.
To be honest, that'd sound right in terms of like a transition. And then I think then we'd have probably been with one of the more local bands that we've gigged with sort of around the years. Yeah, but it's fucking mad. Like I was saying to Riley, I met Jade like at the GIF playing one of your gigs. You know, there's a lot of things happened.
Yeah, because Jade used to be one of the bar staff at the GIF, and she came up and she was just like, "Who's that?" And about you while you were playing on stage, but I've never told you that. So hello.
No, I didn't know that. and then when she realised that Hallam wasn't interested in people in general, she settled for me. That's how the story goes.
So like,
that is how you met your other half was through the Gifford, one of the Gifford shows.
Yeah, that's it, man. I owe it all to you, Brett. That's the key to it, man.
Thank you. At least if everything else goes wrong, you can always turn around and say that, you know, oh yeah, but you know, we've got that because of Brett. That's career, music, none of it matters.
Fuck it.
So like, let's go like back to the beginning for you. Like, how did like you get into the whole like promoting bands and doing all that?
I started 15 years ago now. It was my 18th birthday, and we went into the Gifford. I'd never been to the Gifford before. My friends took me in there because they was telling me about it. And walked in, and it was a Thursday night, and back then Thursday night was student night, and it was like £1 a pint. So 18-year-old was Brett in the first time on a Thursday night with £1 a pint. It was messy, to say the least. And so yeah, that was that, and got chatting to the DJ, who, you know, and they're very, very good friends with. He showed me bits and pieces, and that's how it started out in the nightlife. DJing really was the first step. We met a few bands who used to perform at the back bar of the Civic. So you got the Civic Hall in Wolverhampton, which holds like 4,500 people. I think it's 5,500 now with the expansion. And the Wolf Run, which is 2,500, and then you've got this small little bar in between that connects both the buildings, and they used to put smaller bands in of about 200 people, and that's where I first saw Skindred and how we ended up meeting. And you know, they started in Wolverhampton in the small little room, and then they used to come afterwards and get drunk with us. So yeah, and a lot of other bands, Soil, Drowning Pool, loads of bands, 36 Crazy Fists, loads and loads of different bands that would play the Wolford and the Civic. We'd end up DJing for and with, and it was quite cool. And then I was asked to go and DJ in a place in Warsaw, and they were talking about live music and says, "Oh, we don't really know much about it." I says, "Well, I know bits and pieces," and put my first ever show on in a bar in Warsaw called the Wharf Bar, and it was a tribute night, and it just went from there, and that was about 12 years ago. So yeah.
Fucking hell! I bet you. I'm not to focus on your age because I know because you look about 22, but yeah, I mean, I bet you've seen quite a few different movements then, haven't you? Because I mean, that Skindred Crazy Fist, what's that like? Early 2000s, mid 2000s?
Yeah, we've seen, you know, we've had it when Corn had done the big stadiums and whatnot, and then come back and played the Wolf Run. Prodigy when they played. Mastodon, that was great. Meeting Mastodon was insane. Corey Taylor, we had Corey Taylor in the Gifford. We had Slash in the Gifford when he was touring with Velvet Revolver. That was cool.
That's fucking mad, yeah.
It was insane. Nickelback, we've done, you know, we've seen them all progress, and it's been cool. It's nice to see as well, like the bands that you've worked with progress, that go from like the Small Little Room, like say the Gifford, the Back Bar, the Varsity back then, and then go and main support at the Wolf Run and the Civic, and then go on to UK tours and USA. So that's quite cool as well. We've seen bigger bands come back to smaller venues, and the newer bands progress into the bigger venues. So that's been cool.
Yeah, with that in mind, Brett, what would you say is kind of your biggest achievement in terms of your promotional career?
I've had one band that started with us in Warsaw, and within two and a half years, they exploded onto the indie rock kind of scene and ended up going to play Reading and Leeds, which was really. I put their first show on, and it was great. It was fun. A band that I went to school with, they like I say, we had two school bands. One was indie rock called the Nova Fives, and one was called Speed Theory, which was the metal heavy rock band. And they went and played Bloodstock and toured Europe, and then called it a day. And a few years ago, they all got back together, and they came back, and we did a full weekend show, both nights, and each one was sold out. And it was nice that after all, then we saw a lot of school friends. That was cool. I don't know what my biggest achievement would be. I don't know. I've got loads of memorable ones, and I think I'd much rather have, you know, that than one that stands out more. I'd much rather have, you know, like all these ones that I'm proud of, that I've seen progress and blossom and bloom and develop. Yeah, I think that's more important than just one standout.
A collection. Yeah. More of a collection than like you say, just one standout thing. No, I like that. I think that goes with the whole sort of collective community thing as well.
Yeah, because again, it's like we've been because of the different venues we work in and whatnot. We don't just focus on one genre per se. Like I say, as you introduced earlier, we've got a lot of new wave of classic rock and, you know, that kind of feel. But I mean, before it was heavier rock and metal, and then we've bounced into punk elements, and like I say, we've had bands that have come that have been indie mod, indie rock, and have gone to play Reading and Leeds and things. So yeah, it's been nice that we have that entire scene that we can see with different bands and develop it. It's quite cool. It's nice.
Are there any up and coming bands that you'd recommend for people to look out for?
I've got to say, and I'm not brown nosed when he says this, you know, he sat next to you. I've said this on multiple platforms.
Yeah, it's a good job you said that then, because we fucking prepped for you saying it. I'd look like a right knob then if you hadn't said that.
I've said it on multiple platforms. What you guys have done in lockdown, you know, with the pre-launch of the album and stuff, I have said to, like, I've done multiple podcasts and interviews and things with, you know, newspapers about different things, and they always say, you know, who's one to look out for. And I do mention you guys because what you guys have achieved, I am proud of you for that. It's fantastic, considering you've created your product, your first album, and you've been unable to showcase that product how you'd want to by going out and touring it. Yet you still shifted so much merch, units of the CD for pre-sales and things. That's, you know, hats off to you guys.
No, thanks.
No, you know, credit where credit's due. You know, you've got your likes of Piston and, I mean, Voodoo, Sue, you know, one of my older ones that I've worked with for years. They just released an album at the end of February before all this happened. I'm trying to think. Yeah, you know, there's Pistons one. Ginani are obviously on the way up. Good guys again. And then, you know, you've got your younger ones with Halloween Tides, who are going out on tour, I think, that's been rescheduled with Ricky Warwick. You know, so, yeah, and they're on Still House Festival, which again is a great accomplishment. Yeah, there are guys that have come through that they are, you know, we keep an eye on and they are ones to watch. Yeah.
No, I feel that's a nice summary. We chatted to Jack from Piston, and we had a fucking great chat with Jack. You know, and I think there's definitely a collection of bands that are just on the perimeter of just breaking through now. You know, and it's nice to see them. Imagine for yourself in particular. I mean, you spoke about it with Rivers. It's been a long journey, you know, and you've seen us kind of at every step of that journey, as I'm sure you have with Piston and other bands. That's cool.
Yeah, well, Piston again was one of the first bands we put on very many, like I say, so many years ago, back in the venue in Warsaw. Like I say, it's got to have been about 6 years ago, I think, 6-7 years. When I first met Piston, that Rob wasn't even the lead singer then. We spoke about that with Jack. It's weird to think how long they've actually been going. It's the same again. Another, you know, Iconic Eye are the same. They when I originally met Iconic Eye and started working with them again about 5-6 years ago, they had a male vocalist, and now most people that all know Iconic Eye in that scene all only remember Iconic Eye being a female-fronted band, but originally they were male, and I think that's quite a challenge and an accomplishment for a band that is primarily, you know, male-fronted, male figurehead vocals, and then to transition over and still keep that fan base and expand from it. I think that's very experimental, and if it pays off, fair play, and it did for them.
Yeah, no, fair play. I mean, we explored it with your thing, but as a final question, Brett, right, we're going to put you on the spot, man. We're going to say, if you had to pick just 2 bands that you've most enjoyed being a part of their journey up the rock and roll ladder, what would they be? If you could only pick 2. We know you've got the collection, and we appreciate that, but we want to ruin that now and put you on the spot.
Oh gosh, you really have put me on the spot with that. I have no idea. I couldn't do it. I couldn't just give you 2. I'm folding and backing out on that one.
He's folding. Oh shit, he's done it.
Well, we couldn't even manage 5.
What about 5? A quick fire 5.
Okay. Okay, let's go with you guys. These Wicked Rivers, Voodoo Soup when they came back.
Great band.
Wolfjaw for seeing how much they've progressed and what they've accomplished for doing it on their own for so long. You know, I'm incredibly proud of those guys and everything that they've achieved. Love them to pieces. Halloween Tides, as I said, young band, and, you know, ones to watch out for in the next couple of years. And Stonebroken, because I've known Stonebroken for so long and their accomplishments are fantastic. I remember a story they told me that I didn't know about when you guys were playing the Tap, one of the venues, the other venue we've got in Warsaw that we put live music on, and they come to see you, and they were one of the bar staff was a massive Stonebroken fan, and we were outside the front hall chatting, and they were telling us, you know, I think the bar staff got into the conversation with the guys outside, you know, who's being a proper fanboy. Oh, how did you guys, Rich and Robin had came over and was like, how did you guys get together? And they said, well, we were just jamming at a studio in Warsaw, and we were walking round, and it was Saturday afternoon, and this guy came over out of the blue, and he just said to us, he says, mate, you've got long hair. You look like you're into your rock. Here, I've got this band on tonight. Have a flyer, have a poster. Come down and come and enjoy some live music. And I was stood there oblivious. And I was like, oh, who was that? And they both looked and said, it was you idiot, when you were doing this tribute night. And that was the first show I ever put on in Warsaw. And I had no idea. And they said that they went back and they was like, we could be in a band, because at the time they were just jamming together and, just trialing things out. They said, we could be in a band. And that's, and I had no idea. But that was nice. Like I say, that was cool.
No,
Yeah,
that's such a good. That's like the best story you could have told with the question we asked as well, because it's like at the end of the day, it all leads back to Brett. It all leads back to them ginger locks, doesn't it? At the end of the day, that's the story we'll take away. Thanks ever so much for chatting with us, man. We really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you. Like I say, you're a big part of me and the boys' support. We appreciate it. With live music looking like it's returning in the coming months, have you got any gigs booked you'd recommend people to keep an eye out for the rest of the year?
There's so many things booked. Like I say, we do Mayor's Rock Fest. Keep your eyes on that. That has been rescheduled. We hope that will go ahead. King, Dementia Aware Fest. There's just loads. Keep your eyes out on socials. I'm sure you'll find it, whether one of the venues that we work at, or keep your eyes open. I'm sure you'll hear about what we've got coming, but there is lots coming.
Awesome, man. Can't wait for it. Cheers, Brett.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, so that was Brett Hall.
I love my ginger Viking from the West Midlands. I think he's lovely. He's a right little ginger teddy bear. I mean, Brett's a good dude, man. He's been a big part of me and the boys in these Wicked Rivers climb up the ladder. And we've got a lot of love for playing in Wolves in the West Midlands. I mean, like we said in the interview, I met my wonderful partner Jade, at the GIF in Wolves, so I'm pretty sure Brett thinks he's the reason that we got together, which Jade 100% disagrees with, but we appreciate it, Brett, anyway. But yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, I love the story about the whole Stone Broken thing.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
And the one that surprised me was when talking about Slash.
Yeah, I know the idea of him rocking up to the fucking gig.
Yeah, I was like, where did that came from?
He's got to go somewhere, hasn't he? I bet he's on Google in the middle of Wolves thinking, oh, where should I go for a drink? And there's only probably one rock bar that's like 100% for that, and it's the GIF.
I just when he was talking about that story, I was like, imagine, right? You're just going about your day, and then Slash walks in the building.
Do you want drinks?
What
Slash,
do you do? Like,
shit me pants. Slash would be one of them for me, where because as a guitarist, I was 14, bandana tied to trousers. Yeah, I wear a twat hat now, don't I? You know what I mean?
Still having the impact, isn't it?
That's it. I've got the same amp as him. I had a Les Paul. I still play a Les Paul, even though I do my Gretsch stuff. So it's the big impact. So I'd be a little bit. It'd be one of them where I'd have so much to say, and I think it'd just come out as. Which I think would be exactly what he'd want at that point. I was trying to relax before a gig.
Exactly. I mean, it's the ideal scenario.
What more could you want?
Yeah. And speaking of complete gibberish, that's it for this week.
What a great style! Oh, I love it.
If you'd like to follow us for more gibberish, you can hit us on Instagram and Facebook. And every Wednesday, you'll notice that we release a bit of a teaser, so that you can find out what guest we have.
Indeed. And if you are watching on YouTube, you're doing the right thing. But make sure you subscribe, give us a like, hit the bell so you never miss a video, and just support the vibe, man. Support the journey. We've got some great guests coming up.
More great guests. Just
good one.
Think we're running out.
Got a good one next week, haven't we? Who is it? I can't remember. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll have a look at the page on Wednesday.
You'll have to wait to find out.
I'll have to wait.
Because you're not revealing it on here.
No, otherwise he'll beat me.
Yes. Right, we'll see
big
you
love.
next week.
See you next week.